Same thing. We're gonna go notepad. Boom.
Not shown is an interesting experiment that I tried. I tried my darndest to get a land destruction storm deck to work. It felt so close. It was just on the edge. But I just couldn't get it to where I could go 50-50 in tournaments with it. So,
Bailed.
yeah, I mean, honestly, the land destruction card with Scry probably should be played in some constructed decks. It's really pretty strong. Um, but it just couldn't quite make the cut, which was a shame because it would have been perfect. I think Storm would have dominated had that deck worked.
Huh. Interesting.
It was really just a hair slow, though. If they had put in a 2-drop artifact mana, I think it could have pulled out.
Oops.
Sorry, Fiddles. I really don't actually try for 61. It's really, honestly, anywhere 60, 61. I'm even okay with 62 or 63 sometime if it's really hard. I'm fine with the 27, 62 mana base. And for mid-range, I'm perfectly okay to play with that if I can't cut to. I mean, 60 cards, it's a heuristic. And, I use it when appropriate.
Well, my pushback this week on that was going to be, so if I said, let's say you had, well, let's take an example. Does one of these have 61 cards? Let's see.
Actually, none of them worked out that way this week.
Oh, okay. Hold on a second. I didn't get this in yet, did I? No. This is what I want. Okay. All right, we'll okay that. Okay, now I've got the stuff in Stream Decker, and hopefully that helps viewers a bit. But what I was going to say is, if you were in a spot with a 61 card deck, you're like, this is fine. But if I stepped in and said, wait, they changed the rules, Jay. It's now a 59 card minimum. And you're like, oh, okay, in that case, well, I gotta find a cut, and I'm gonna cut this one. And I would say, why not then make that your cut to 60?
Well, you're saying that I would cut down to 59.
Well, at some point you would cut down, right?
Sure, at some point I would cut down, but then I'd be cutting down an entire set of cards. I'd be totally eliminating a card from the deck. And that's the point when I would cut down. So if I decided, hey, I don't need this many, I don't need 2 sets of removal spells, I'll remove the weaker of the 2 or something of that sort. And that's when I would cut down, definitely.
I do hear what you're saying, though, that so to try and Jay, correct me if I'm wrong about any of this, but let's say you have a deck that's mostly 4-ofs, but then you've got a 1-of, or this is just a 1-of, or this is a good 2-of, but you like all these 4-ofs, and now you're in a spot where you're either reducing one of your 4-ofs to a 3 or cutting something else. That Jay's saying it's more important to him to know that there is a 1 in 15 chance of drawing each of these 4-ofs, rather than saying this is the 4-of that I'm going to reduce to a 1 in 20 chance, and that the EV or the win-loss that you might shift by having 1 extra card in your deck may be, in fact, significantly worse, or it might be better to just accept that than the consequences of setting the wrong 4-of to the wrong ratio in the deck. So is that fair?
Basically, I consider having the right number of a card in the deck more important than having exactly 60 cards.
Sure, say it in one sentence like a pro or something.
You're not. We
got time to fill here.
You're not the first person to challenge the 60 cards.
You have some ammo. You have some tools in the toolbox.
I used to have a FAQ for my column back in the day, for the first decade of writing it, because I would get that question every week. Oddly, if you want a fun fact, do you know what the most read column I ever wrote was?
I'm going to guess it's the the token drawing column. Is that it?
It was actually Frog in a Blender, the deck that beat Psychotog.
Ah, interesting.
For the longest time, it was the #1 column that was ever on Brainburst. And for those of y'all who might remember, Psychotog was the crushingly dominant deck of its time. And I came up with this weird red-green thing that just beat it 90+% of the time. You had to like double mulligan to lose.
Mm-hmm.
And it was weird because it used horrible things like a 2/2 bear that had pro blue that would just give the Tog deck fits. And, between that and Mongrel and the discard bolts, and the reason it was named Frog in a Blender was it was named after that old joke, what's red, green, and takes 30 seconds. And
that's nice.
That's about how long it took to play.
It's funny. I was talking on stream recently about how, and on LR about how kind of overpowered and overburdened the protection mechanic is, and how it's kind of broken and so swingy against the right colors. Right? It's just you just can't interact with it at all in combat or with spells. Fanatic Guru asks, if you ignored the 4 rule and took a 60-card deck and doubled to 120, would it make play more consistent or less consistent? Probably less, right? Because you just have more opportunities to get 6 of something, and it's going to create a wider bell curve of possibility, right?
That's exactly correct. It makes the bell curve flatter and longer. I mean, you can make some arguments that you might want to play 100, if 90 or some high percentage, I don't want to quote a number, if a high percentage of your cards were functionally optimal, yet you had a handful of one-ofs you needed for your deck, like let's say that you were playing a tutor and you had all the tutors you wanted. So someone made Demonic Tutor, you can play any number of these cards in your deck, and you wanted to have like 20 one-ofs. You could argue for an 80 or 100 card deck design if they printed that card, just so that you had your whole sideboard in your deck at the start. Yeah, it's kind of weird the way the math goes. It's easier to think about the curve and just think about it being really flat and longer.
Sorry about that. I was muted. This is what I do when I eat and stream. I forget to unmute. So it looks like we're just controlling with Gates Ablaze and Star of Extinction as mass removal, and some outburst for individual Lightning Strike finale. What's the big payoff? Are we looking?
So
how are we going off?
Payoff is Star of Extinction, and you're getting Thousand Year Storm out there, and the funny thing is, Thousand Year Storm and Finale is kind of an amazing kill card. You're actually killing him with stupid bolts.
Right.
I mean, there's not
you
much
do it
in
3
the way
times or whatever.
Yeah, this deck was just marginal to get through, but it did cross the line, and I felt it was really interesting in the way that it played.
All right, well, let's put it to the test in Ranked Ladder.
I mean, the other one is by far my favorite is my preferred of the two, but this one was so interesting, and playing Gates with, the Thousand Year Storm was kind of a neat way to get it out and get it into play while you're still alive. The big problem with Thousand Year Storm is all the other 6-cost cards kill you instantly, and Storm you have to fully untap and have other stuff in your hand.
Which is a great, I love playing around with wacky decks and whatnot, but it's great to also define the basic deck building and magic principles that are the reason it's a brewer's card and not like a tier 1 standard deck, right? Mm-hmm. And
by the way, Finale just was a shocking benefit out of this one. Of course, you kind of have to mulligan this, I think. Oh.
Well,
that works.
Chart. Yeah, we'll be all right.
Chart. So chart was kind of an interesting choice. I
We'll
could
keep
have
that
gone
too.
with the more expensive version, but since I'm, the chemist's insight, because in a lot of ways those are functionally the same. They're card draw and get things out. I wanted the mana efficiency here so that when Thousand Year Storm is out, I'm able to get the storm triggers going.
Yeah, it makes sense. Did you consider opt? That was something somebody suggested
I
as a.
did consider opt. Opt was in here for absolutely ever. I had to cut it. I just didn't have room. You can easily see how I made this deck accidentally without enough kill cards. The two cantrip bolts at 4 were put in just to make sure you had sufficiency of killing.
I think we want to go gate, and then be able to root on 4.
Yeah, if you can. He's not pressuring you. He's the, looks like standard bolus control.
Hey, we draw a replacement. That's nice.
Mm-hmm.
And, excuse me, we'll go ahead and... I guess we should chart before we play a land, see what else we get. Another chart. I think we got to keep the root and the summit. Maybe we can get rid of the other chart.
Get rid of the other chart. I mean, they're just there for triggering storm and again, reset. You can run a lot of little cantrip things. It was actually, this deck was shockingly tight on space. And I would have loved to have had Ops in there and Warlord's Fury and other things. I just didn't have room.
I did that wrong. Sorry. Oh, no, it actually works. Never mind. I was thinking this wasn't a gate. And it's not. So we go like this, and then we don't care. Oh, I see. Yes. Been a long time since I've played a guild summit.
Valhalla, absolutely. You sort of run out. The blue finale is an interesting thought. I didn't run into that direction. So that's actually pretty good for us, because he's not going to be killing us with that card. You're going to have plenty of gas. Yeah, one of the instants, either the... I mean, I wouldn't... Either one, doesn't really matter. Just don't drop root.
I did it again. So I was thinking we could do... If we do Outburst, then we have Strike and Spiral on the same turn in the future. If we ditch Outburst now. So that's what I was thinking. I'll do that. Maybe... It's a very high-value card, but I like trying that. And here...
I'll play Circuitous Route first.
Yeah, I just like... There's actually no... Like, it's kind of... They can do whatever. We're going to draw a bunch off of it, right? So
absolutely. You're going to be dropping out Storm on your next turn. And
does the type of gate matter? We have Storm. I guess we have no... We have Wooburg even. So we're pretty well covered. Is there a double spell? Is there any... What is the most important color to have extra of? Red, maybe?
I just try and get Spectrum. You're going to be getting... You've already got the one that gives you 5 colors.
Yeah, I think we have everything we need.
Right. I would just start filling out.
To cover the bases.
And don't forget to play a gate. No, not that one. Play the tapped one.
Sure. Just caught it. Maybe just a gate here?
Yeah, sure. Gate but not Plaza. Well.
Yeah, let's get rid of Plaza because this draws us a card.
I would probably go the other way.
Yeah, because you want the untapped?
I want the untapped land.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh. Hey, your deck totally won. If you just drag your feet on making a tough decision. Oh, yeah, here, let me adjust the record as well. Appreciate. We're a pro operation around here. we leave mics on mute and bad info on screen, but we're having a good time. All right, this is standard brew. And yeah, I'll change the Twitch title as well. Good call. This is why I have the best chat. They help my old man brain keep track of all these stupid details. Not like my brain didn't do this when I was a younger man. It's just a handy excuse. All right. Go to my dashboard and update this title. Brewing Standard with J. Schneider.
It is a shame he didn't let you blow up his bolos with a Star of Extinction. That's always plenty of fun.
Yeah.
I like watching them scoop after that, after a couple of those trigger and hit.
What's the most Star of Extinctions you've put on the stack in your testing this week?
I put like 4 in one, round. It wasn't enough, but they didn't have that many lands left.
Hmm.
The funny thing is I finale them. Because, finale for 7's really good.
Oh yeah, I spun this morning, by the way. Yeah, finale for 7 is all right. It'll win a magic game or two.
Well, the nice thing is it puts a bunch of them on the stack because the finale triggers and the other card triggers and...
New tech. Don't take my thumb off the mute button until I'm done with my bite. Well, a little bit awkward in the colors available, but we do have a Gates Ablaze. Is it worth keeping on the strength of that?
I'd keep it. Yeah, you got a Gates.
And
you'll draw.
Right.
I trust the deck.
Anything blue, and we're off to the races here. Mm-hmm. And we're very set against aggro. This should be good. If they're white-green tokens, Gates Ablaze should be pretty powerful. I don't think it matters.
Yeah.
Hey, Wishka, thanks. Glad you're here. Oh, I should bring up...
It might just be white-green flowers. Or
yeah.
Oppo.
White-green all land.
Don't bolt it.
Nah, we're gonna
Gates.
Take care of the first wave off the Ablaze. What we want to see here is maybe 2 small creatures played. That would be ideal, or some tokens made. Might even go ahead and just take the 8 next turn, depending on what they play here, really. It's the bottom line.
If they don't play any other creatures, you can certainly Lightning Strike 1.
Wow, nothing else, huh?
Actually, you can Outburst 1.
Yeah, well, we don't have the blue yet, but if we get there...
Oh, that's a good point.
I kind of like taking 8, if we have to, and seeing what they want to do. I don't want to just lose to, like...
Let's see. Yeah, I wouldn't bolt anything right now, so...
Okay.
Let's top deck the blue like that.
There's our blue. That's the start. Now it's Gates or strike up and see what they do.
I would just wait and see what they do. I
mean, current worst case is 8, right? Yeah. I think this is fine.
You can take 8. I'd almost be tempted to Lightning Strike one of them, just because it increases the strength of the bluff, to bluff not having a Gates.
Yeah, we can do it. I think we're pretty set against this strategy anyway, so I think getting too low on life is maybe how we lose. And this either gains us 4 life or takes a spell out of their hand if they want to do something to save it here. They're thinking.
So it doesn't keep it that much. At the level I'm at, 50%. I'm playing basically a gold 1 right now, and about half the decks, maybe a little more, are control.
Now I like Guild Summit, play a gate. We get 2 cards this turn, set up an amazing route, give them a chance to commit more to the board before we Gates Ablaze.
Oh, that looks great. So the answer really, Valhalla, is metagame based on to whether you know how much you keep a Gates Ablaze.
Yes, Wishka, I'm at a standing desk. The key I have found, by the way, is like I had standing desk options at Wizards for the last 2 years that I was there, and I barely ever used it. And if I did, it was for a very short amount of time because that's kind of all I could stand. And buzz marketing, I guess, for this thing, but I use this standing pad. Try and hold it up. You can kind of see it. I can look up what brand this is or whatever, but this changed my standing desk life. Even standing on the ground right now is bothering me. Like, I just stepped off my pad for a second. I'm like, why would I ever do this? But having that pad is like, it makes it like, it's just the perfect amount of resistance. And it makes standing no problem.
It's amazing that Wizards offered you a standing desk. I had to fight for an Ergo keyboard and eventually brought my own.
Oh, yeah, the HR got better on that kind of stuff over time. I don't know what changed, but yeah, there was basically when they started remodeling, they sucked it up, and because I think like when you were there, standing as a health positive was a pretty wild idea for office culture, and by the time my time on Arena, it was standard fare, really. Now we have 2 Gates Ablaze. Let's just clear this. We can play the other summit, though. Oh yeah, this enters untapped, so let's do Blaze and Guild Summit, but we're not going to draw anything off it this time. We do it next time.
Yeah, Blaze and
yeah,
you can also chart a course if you want it.
Yeah, that's true. Could chart a course. I'll get the summit going though.
Oh, I missed you have the summit in your hand. Sorry.
I mean, there's an argument for waiting so that we can get the full tap, 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 tap and draw a bunch, but given that we have root, I just like getting this down. Oh, they're going to do it again. All right. That's not the enchantment you're going to wish you got rid of, I think. So we just dump this? Just do it here?
Just dump it.
All right.
If they let you untap,
come on.
It'll be a very short hand. I would probably go for getting 4 lands out of my deck.
Oh, thanks. No, the Wizard sponsorship can go down. I only put that up because I was opening packs they gave me.
That was a nice top deck.
All right, yeah. So now we do it for 3 and cast both of these.
That seems good. Make sure to do it correctly so that the bolt goes off second.
Okay, bolt goes second because we want the most bolts.
The bolt goes. Oh, do we need the extra?
Face.
We need the extra one to. No, we've got 5. Okay. Yeah, make sure the bolt goes off second. It's a little weird to cast.
Oh, you want 3.
3.
Should give me the option here, right? Oh, did I do it wrong? I stacked them wrong.
Okay.
It's not the worst, but
Yeah,
I tried.
It's 3 points of damage. It takes a little bit to...
I know how LIFO works. I just didn't think... I thought it was going to somehow resolve each individually there. Like, that I was going to pick it and it was going to do it, and then I was going to pick the other one and it was going to do that, but it stacked them, of course, and so that messed me up. All your gates are ablaze.
I think you did about 100 damage to those creatures.
They're pretty darn dead. Ooh, can't quite do that yet, but it could be fun next turn. What do you like sequencing here? Root into... We go course into outburst, or just blaze into chart a course?
Blaze into chart a course. And drop out the extra land that you draw out of the 4 cards. Kill them on the next turn with bolts. Actually, yeah.
I need
Discard
one
a
gate. What's that?
Oh, yeah.
Probably get rid of root.
You don't need a gate. You've got a Star of Extinction.
But we need one more? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6?
Or you got a land in the hand to play.
Right, but I got to discard something here. I'm looking for my discard.
I would discard a gates probably, but it doesn't really matter. You're going to bolt them out next turn anyway.
Oh, gates ablaze, you mean?
Yeah, gates ablaze.
Sorry. I heard gate, so I thought you were saying discard the gate, and I was like, I disagree. Okay, I'm with that. I'm with you on that, though.
Yeah.
And probably don't even need the spiral here. Just stick with the live gates that we have. Now, if we can untap, it's going to be tough for them. But now this doesn't really use the storm off, right? We could go.
If you really wanted to be, to build up, you would cast root and drop out another land and take the damage.
We just go to the face, though, right? Can't we just?
Right, you can just go to the face and win. That's
let's go to the face and win.
That's the thing. You just win this turn, no matter how you do it. You don't get to show off unless you did the other way, but.
Well, we're gonna double outburst because that's fun. Nice.
So as much fun as this one is, I think the other one's even more fun.
Should we just switch?
I would.
Yeah, we got a lot to do today.
It was absolutely a complete blast to play. I mean, I got to get a mass to work where I could play it in tournament, which is kind of neat. Right. That was sort of a side effect. I couldn't quite... I felt a little bad because I'm not sure if a mass was the star or if storm was, but it is two great tastes that taste great together. And by adding the black in it, I was able to keep it competitive with the control decks, and it's a little vulnerable to red, but it could still win against it.
All right.
So in my case, why playing Constructed? I play it to grind gold. Yeah. Just to... If you get 7 wins, you get 1,000 gold, 500 entry fee, plus 3 rares.
Have you done the math on where break even is? How good? What does your win percentage have to be? I think actually we did. I don't know if they've changed the values or not, but there was some hope for some less. My spreadsheets can get a little eye glazy if you're not a spreadsheet type, but I will show you at least. I can kind of answer my own question that I started to ask Jay here, if I switch to left monitor again. So here's the spreadsheet, but I have constructed event gold EV math. So right now, if you're a 50% player, you're actually paying gold per game. And we calculated the 100% EV point. So in constructed events, you need to be a 57% player before the gold cost per game becomes positive. I guess 56 probably is a little low. Yeah, so...
Are you including the value of the rares you get for going 5 wins or more?
No, and that's acknowledged in a lot of the notes that I call out. I guess I don't call it out here, but I call it pre-grind. And I'm only focusing on the gems in, gems out aspect, but I haven't done a lot of work on the constructed one since it's not the pressing concern of my stream.
Sure.
But yeah, there is extra value also from the random cards you get in those events as well.
Because I found that if I go 5 or better, it's pretty effective because I'm getting a rare and a couple of pulls that are rare. I mean, I'm always happy if I get 5, or at least fairly happy if I get 5. And try never to not get 5 wins.
Makes sense.
Not that I'm not that I complain about getting 6s and 7s, but
sure. This looks pretty straightforward. Just amass.
Just amass. It's kind of amazing how many, given there's this interesting synchronicity between the card. It's that uncommon that's actually really almost off the chart, so that it gives you a mass equal to your graveyard. Well, your sorcery is an instance, but that is your graveyard.
It's funny because we tried that in draft. Felt like we had the draft for it. Like we were just so heavy on instants and sorceries. It was still garbage.
I never gotten it to work until this deck. And it's such a tempting target. I was glad.
No red, and we got a double red, but I think we keep this with the double opt and the augur.
Valhalla, I did try both Rowls, and I just needed the card space. This 1,000-year deck is so tight. I mean, I'm having, in a lot of them, this one obviously has ops, but I would love to have as many. I have some more good cantrips than I can play.
Don't need 2 of those.
Well, at least you know what he's playing, which is nice.
What's the? Is it?
He's playing the basically good stuff. It's black, white, blues, or red. Sometimes all 4 colors.
Four color good stuff.
Yeah, all the good gold stuff in this deck. He'll play, or Opera will play everything from the Teferis to possibly a Nicol Bolas, the blue-black Spectre. Oh, this is the aggro build. Never mind. I take all that back. This is just a straight-up aggro one. And you can sort of see where it's coming from.
Yeah, it looks like it's all Mardu, huh? Just aggro Mardu. Well, we need to get to brutality. Although this is nice, we can pick off.
Picking off Judith first is worth the effort.
And the 2 life, unfortunately, but there you go. Oh, we can do it mid-combat. Nah, it doesn't change anything. It doesn't. In fact, it would be worse because then they could take it out.
Right. And right now, your agent or whatever they are will survive the
augur. Yeah. Threatens to eat this and bounce with that, so they need to take it out or do something. Another hero.
Gotta love seeing that.
More. Play another 2-drop. Yes. You have no idea what we're doing. Oh, you're hovering over your hand. Yes!
There we go.
It's a beautiful day, folks. It's a beautiful day.
Tapped out,
More
showed
land.
them-
We don't need more land here.
But you tapped out. You showed them they were correct. You justified their decision.
Yep, you got it, Oppo. Well, we'll save life total here since it's all going away.
Mm-hmm.
We can do it off... oh, that was almost terrible. But I caught it just in time. Brutal!
Now you need to go into getting yourself a storm, or you need to get the thing that lets you kill a creature and gain 4 life. The 5-drop.
Yeah. Enter the God Eternals is what what we're looking for.
Thank you.
And we'll play this here. I kind of like taking out this Judith again while we can, but we
Take
can
out the Judas and then swing.
Yeah, then
and
we can
then
course.
chart for 2.
Just gonna send the Augur, which survives and doesn't trade. Leave this back to potentially trade with the Fiend the other side.
There we
Hey,
go.
we found it.
Nice pull.
Too rad we're not finding the 1,000-Year Storm combo, but I like... should we just get the life now? I mean, I
Just
have...
get life. Don't hang around at this low level.
Oh, wait.
Mill
Look at the
yourself.
target. Target
Mill
puts the
yourself.
top... Yeah, we're definitely milling ourselves. Alright, nice. 2-0 so far with 1,000-Year Storms. That was more the Grixis control side than the 1,000-Year Storm side, but...
That's always the problem. 1,000-Year Storm is just a kill card.
Right.
There's
It's just
nothing
a...
I can do about that.
Yep, it's just a prestige. It's just the finishing move.
Oh, milling yourself is for the sorcery amass card.
Yeah, we not only do we have we have graveyard interaction in our deck, so we want sorceries and instants to go into our graveyard, but I would say that in general, especially, I mean, when you're in standard and you just can see exactly what deck, you know the meta and you know what's in the deck, then you can make the choice that you want. But if you're at all unsure, and especially against black and green, which use the graveyard heavily, I would always point it at self, because you are far more at risk of helping your opponent's graveyard strategies than you are risking losing by empty library or something like that. And also, some people are very averse to self-milling because it feels like you're denied those draws. It can be very painful, like you're praying hard to get that one specific top deck, and you do that mill, and you see that top deck go away, and you're just like, I don't want to risk that. That's all just noise. It's all statistical noise. You're just as likely to mill the 4 cards that were in the way of you getting to your desired card as you are milling away your desired card. So that's just re-randomizing your deck, and the loss of cards to the graveyard literally does not matter statistically unless it contributes to losing the game through decking. So that's what's going on there. Let's do that again, and then check out what your...
I would make one small
you wanna do-
comment to the self-milling discussion.
Sure.
It does actually add variance to your gameplay. So if you have the game at a near lock, you probably don't want to do it.
To them or to you?
To yourself.
But isn't the variance
let's
added by potentially helping their graveyard strategies just as
let's
dangerous?
Suppose you have a card you have to get to win. But you've got all the time in the world.
Sure, that's a good scenario.
And you can get, I mean, that shows the 100% case, but that could happen. You could theoretically mill away your 4 critical cards when you have a game that is all yours.
Yeah, it makes sense. And
So there's a
follows
little
along.
bit of variance in a high value game.
Yeah, and also follows along with that the general philosophy of getting more conservative the farther ahead you are.
Mm-hmm.
When you're feeling like you're in a dominated position, the question I like to ask is, okay, how do I lose from here? Like, what actually happens? What's Oppo's plan to win from here, and how do I protect against specifically that? Because there's probably some narrow possible win that you can just shore up and close the door completely if you think it through. Yeah, we can just play Sulphur Falls here. Maybe just take this out now.
I think so. No sense giving him the scry.
Yeah, no sense giving him the scry. And Widespread Brutality without some extra amass support doesn't actually kill it anyway.
It's not the damage that you care about, it's just letting them look ahead and set their draws.
Now I think we can play to the Widespread Brutality from here, though.
Mm-hmm.
And I like dropping a Watery Grave tapped, and then either Augur or keep up Strike just in case.
Augur.
But probably just Augur, yeah.
Yeah, Augur.
And I guess we do that before we play the tap land. Might as well see.
Augur is absolutely one of my favorite cards these days. Hey,
what do you like?
The devil.
Want to invade the city?
Yeah, let's get an invade the city. It may not be best, but it's the most fun by far. Especially if Oppo, forces you to play a little bit of defense for a turn or two.
Yeah, we'll see what they put out.
You can get some amazing surprise kills. No one expects your little 2/2 guy to pop up to an 8/8.
Right. It's the Augur matchup here. I like invading the city next and setting up for a much better brutality. They know about the city anyway. Mm-hmm. Although we could strike ahead. I don't know. We'll see. Oh, that's good to know about.
That is good to know about. Oh,
only one of those. Yeah, maybe we don't invade yet. There's only one in the yard. You just brutality here.
I think so.
Attack and then
swing first.
Yeah, let them bounce, and then they'll both die, but that's okay. We want them to not have blockers.
Right. They should block. I don't know if... Yep, they're good enough to. In this case, it's wrong, but they should be expected to charge.
It's good to get on board, too, because now they're in a spot where you can't just sit there on a wizard's retort. I mean, this will attack 9 times, right? So they got to do something.
Don't even have to attack 9 times. You've got double bolt, and they...
That's true.
Can't counter them and keep up counters.
Now we get Bolt City. Ooh, nice. Nice, nice. Start here. Make sure we're left with the mana we need, yep. And note that I cast the one that did not have the eyeball, but it's smart enough to not have to manage that, just in case anybody didn't know that.
I, for one, didn't know that. So.
Yeah, it's handy to not have to be that careful when you have duplicate spells.
And it's like game over. Can you just kill him here if you go to the dome?
Can't. I want to. We could recast invade the city for one thing. We could. Oh, we're so close to invade and then evade
10
again.
Plus, how many do we have in the discard after we?
Let's see. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 right now.
Plus 1 is 5, so 5. Yeah, you can just go to the dome and they lose. You just bolt and invade.
Yeah.
And that is 5 more, and there you go.
Exactsies.
You see, I feel a little bit bad about a mass stealing a lot of the thunder from Thousand Year Storm, but it just gets so. Thousand Years is correct in the deck
right.
at a 2 of. It's just people have been being crushed by the main deck first.
Yeah, and that's again, that's just a way to understand why Thousand Year Storm type cards end up being Johnny Timmy build-arounds, but aren't super competitive concerns just because there tend to be things at that mana that just do the job better. You know, I talked about cards having jobs on LR last night as a great way to frame drafting and how to make choices as, you know, what's the job of this card. And the job of Thousand Year Storm is basically win more, but it was the challenge, right? So, all right, let's win more in some fun ways, and this is pretty fun.
And understand that Valhalla, I am playing a couple of them. It's not my fault Oppo isn't making it challenging enough, where we had to use Storm to beat them. As the competition gets up there, Oppo will make it harder and harder, and then 1,000 will make the difference.
But I'm going to take our undefeated record with Thousand Year Storm decks and retire it for the moment, and let's give the Singleton deck a try. I'm going to grab that.
The counters format, you mean?
Counters format, yes. What did I say? I don't
so
know.
This is
Who cares what I
very theory crafted. Wow. I've never played this format before, and so I took an interesting approach to it. So I don't know if you've introduced your audience to the term where the term next level deck building comes from and the next level terminology. Its early meaning is basically looking at the metagame and thinking one metagame ahead.
Mm-hmm.
And you can certainly play that game as many as you want to, but really looking one level ahead tends to be very optimal for trying to create metagame beating decks and decks that do well. And in this case, my assumption is the counters format benefits the most from Planeswalker decks. They get an extra counter every turn, and that's a huge benefit. As such, I built this into an Elder Spell combo deck that tries to get an Elder Spell off, uses a limited number of Planeswalkers, enough to basically Planeswalker Elder Spell, you're dead.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, just things that do well in the format and will match up what I think is in the format. So you have some early pressure. You've got the counter killer. Don't forget that you get an amass token if you do nothing else in the turn.
Right.
So there's going to be a bunch of those little guys running around.
What did we...
the Goblin King, because he gets +1/+1s, and I had about 2 spaces left, and I thought it'd be fun.
Oh, did I not? Hold on.
That's why the Goblin guy is in there. In the 3-drop.
Why didn't it say... Okay, hold on. Oh, because it's... we got 58 cards here. I don't know what didn't come in. Is that an import problem on my side?
I wonder, it could have been an export problem on my side. I know it's showing 60 cards. Oh, the storm. Let me. There's 60 cards in the original.
Let's see what's missing. Creature 10, that maps out. Planeswalker 5, that maps out. Spells 18, that maps out.
25
others 2. Chandra Bold Pyromancer. Is that in here? That seems accidental. Wait a second.
What? No.
So do you want Chandra Bold Pyromancer in here?
I did.
Okay.
Chandra Bold Pyromancer happens to be one of the few things you can single Elder Spell and then ultimate when you play.
So 2 of these?
Wait a second. Yeah, this -7 one. That's it.
All right.
2 of those. I don't know that they're good. They were kind of this is an unusual format, but it should be Chandra, Elder Spell, Ultimate, all in the same turn, and do 10 to Oppo and everything else. So it really is very heavily theory crafted. I am sure it will evolve and change.
Let's give it a shot. And this we'll call update the record, update the format to be counters as the format. So we're looking to deal 10 damage to target player and each creature and planeswalker they control as a nice finisher move. Okay.
I expected to see a lot of stuff like this. This is why you have the full set, of course, of price of trails.
Yeah, that thing. What are even the rules? Let's see. Plus one creature. You control no creatures. Okay, then you make an army. I see. What a crazy format.
This is why I was pure theory crafting before this activated this morning.
I like that play. Oh wait.
No, it's not a good play. I looked at that and discounted that as a strategy because you have to have a counter to get a counter.
Right. No, not summit. That would come in tapped. Maybe that's okay if what we're doing here is this. We don't want butcher. Well, you can let this get.
I think you want to wait and let the amass token grow.
Sure.
Whether you want to kill the 3/3 or not.
That's what I'm thinking about.
Yeah, I think that might be
whether
worth
we
killing.
butcher or. Do you want a price or butcher is the
3/3.
question.
Price.
Okay. In that case.
Price, come in to play tapped land.
We'll play Blood Crypt tapped. And alright.
And let your token grow.
That's what was that you somebody else either you are repeating yourself or somebody else mentioned that as well, Fiddles, but either way, point taken. This is a place where you want to go first. I guess we just play Summit here and
you have to bedevil
the beast.
Oh, of course. That thing's horrible.
Wow, you're just like slamming on Vincent Price from Beyond the Grave, calling him a turncoat of some kind. I don't know why. I don't know what Vincent Price ever did to you. The main thing he did for me was the upfront, the voiceover on Thriller. That was his main value to my cultural upbringing. Oh, it's gonna get brutal.
Very bad for Oppo.
It's gonna be brutal.
Oh. Nice to see the theory worked pretty well.
Yeah. From theory to practice.
I felt like this was the weaker of the decks that you'll see in the metagame. The creature approach. I'm pretty sure Super Friends is the way to go.
Super Friends and you get an automatic chump every turn? Or is it...
And the Super Friends...
Oh, it does counters?
Get a +1 counter every turn. Thus playing Turbo Elder Spell.
Right. don't remember the TV show with the werewolf DJ, but now I want to watch it. I don't know, you know. That's pretty brutal, but we'll keep it.
Butcher is just so good, it's hard to resist in this format.
And we get to go first? Oh, no, they went first. And if they attack, I'll accept the trade. Oh, bye, Butcher. Maybe they'll let us keep it. It can't really make it through, but no, okay, there. No Butcher for us, and no surprise widespread brutality either.
That's not a bad top deck.
Yeah, I like going there first. Must kill as usual. Must kill in all formats. We just coil here and reset theirs.
Yeah. I think we've now got tempo on them.
Whatever your plans, they're statistically, I'd be less frustrated if you had fewer flaws.
We have like 11 answers for that Planeswalker. One of which is
care? Do we care enough to pay 2 life to do it now? It's still going to be a 3/3 that can't damage this turn.
Right, I'm not sure I would. I would hold it. Bedevil, right. I believe, is an instant.
It is, but they have the static that's stopping us. Yeah, Dovin just sits there as a non-stop icy.
You show remorse. I'll show restraint.
Well, like you said, you think this is largely a Super Friends format, so it looks like the Theory Craft is appropriate here as well. We just need to find the spell. And this is an instant, so yeah, we can leave it.
I've got time.
It would be nice if we drew another one of our solutions, but...
Price of Betrayal? Which one do we want to... I guess...
you don't really care about Dovin that much. You've got to take out Teferi before it gets too many counters and draws cards.
Uh-oh, probably countered here, though. Speaking of counters. All right, we made it.
Only time will tell.
Yeah, no instance for us because of the static there as well. Oh, Planeswalker statics.
Right on schedule. Here we go.
All right, let's get that Elder spell. Come on, that'd be sweet. No Elder spell, but more mana. I guess let's see, what is each non-army creature? That doesn't do anything. We could Bedevil. Bedevil Teferi? What do you think is most important here?
I think you have to Bedevil...
Might even have to Bedevil the Butcher. It's getting out of...
Narset. I'm more concerned about Narset than the Butcher.
Okay.
violence is upsetting.
I've got it.
That's problems.
That is.
But I guess we make an army token that can at least chump and get rid of the
Sure.
Steamkin. I mean, we're not doing anything else with. I don't want to play this Steamkin, and we got a million of these anyway, so might as well take out one of theirs.
I have nothing no other option.
Thanks for the follow there. Pinning us down.
That's what we wanted.
So Chandra.
Chandra.
But what does she do for us at this point, even? Take out Teferi. Play a Steamkin.
I take out Teferi and hope the token survives.
All right.
Really should have seen that coming.
Oh, we didn't
Oh,
get
no.
a token.
Oops. That's all right. Maybe
I
it'll.
thought
Well,
it was when we didn't have a creature. I guess it's when we have no creatures or planeswalkers.
yeah, nowhere to put a counter.
We were, I think, a little too slow that time anyway.
Yeah.
We also didn't draw any of our answers. Oh, we drew a half an answer.
I want to get the metagame punish here. I want to get the Elder Spell off on somebody playing Super Friends. But just heads up, it's 110. I think I'm going to go to about 130 here. There's an Elder Spell to set that up. Let's see if we can make it happen.
This is what we want to see.
We get to go first? No, I thought we were going first maybe for the first time. I didn't really pay attention, and then, like, nope. Yeah, sure. Let's get the Steamkins going, see if they land. Oh, I guess I could have, I should have taken out the Growth Chamber. We'll see if they go for that. Indeed. I wish that were instant. That would be interesting. Did Jay Parker announce the format or announce that there was going to be one? If he announced there's going to be one, well, we've all known that since Arena was announced, that they got to do something with rotation. So wake me up when they tell us what it is. Yeah, it's pretty strong. That was a huge mistake not to take out that Guardian on site. Seems like a great card in the format. Instead, though, we could... no.
We can bedevil it.
Yeah, we could bedevil it, then they get another one going, but if they don't have the land, then we can... Well, we can't really stop. They got two. But I think we do need...
we're going to out-mana them very quickly.
Yeah.
Because we've got the runaways.
Yeah.
They can't win the race.
All right, well, we'll do this. And no attacks. Well, Shadows over Innistrad is the earliest set that was completely coded for Arena. It was not polished. It was coded because that was the set at the time, and then when we saw the timeline and the horizon, polishing Shadows didn't matter because it wasn't going to be a concern by the time the game was released, but it did function. So maybe they will take... I don't know if they care about leveraging the partially functioning sets, the unpolished... functioning but unpolished sets of the past that they have access to. We will see. Well, I guess we get them all eventually. Let's do this in a coil.
Seems good.
And no attacks either place there. And no reason to get 3 red or anything. I was checking to see if it was remove all counters or remove 3, and it is remove 3, so we get some behind.
That's what we wanted.
Yeah, that works. Let's see, we get mana from here and then here. That was enough. Boom. Valhalla says, I assume there is like 0 crossover for Midgo, or yeah, that's how we called it internally, to Arena to speed up bringing older sets to Arena. I don't know how they're going to bring older sets to Arena. That was one of the questions. There were so many great questions that were submitted via the Patreon to talk on limited resources yesterday that we didn't get to. But yeah, there's not... Magic Online and Arena don't really talk. The only place they've shared info is like pick data to inform bots and some solutions on collation, but there's no code shared or anything like that. And I wonder about how they're going to approach the future. If we can soapbox for a sec here, I'll just pop to my larger view, but yeah, there's a lot of ways they could approach rotation. So first thing is to create an arena-only format that, like, could be Brawl. I mentioned Brawl as a thing they could leverage as like, all right, we're gonna revitalize Brawl as an arena concern. The trouble with Brawl as your format is that yes, you've provided uses for one of my 4 copies of a card, but I want to use all 4 copies of my card. So I think there's a failing there on leveraging a commander style or Brawl format. You really want people to have their playsets have meaning after rotation. So then it seems to me that there's going to be, call it Arena Modern. And Arena Modern is going to put a line in the sand somewhere in the past and say that Arena Modern is this thing that we're going to build forward. If I were doing it, I would say, look, Arena Modern is whatever we say it is, and eventually maybe it even becomes Modern, but we don't have all of Modern on here yet. So right now, Arena Modern is this because these are the sets we have. And when we figure out how we want to go about bringing old sets back onto Arena, then we'll start expanding what Arena Modern is and say from the get-go, just so you know, Arena Modern's line in the sand can go backwards. We may pull back and start incorporating older and older sets, but that right now, today, Arena Modern is here forward. And then here forward could be, again, just what's out. It could just be Ixalan forward, since those are polished live sets. They may be polishing older sets behind the scenes right now in anticipation of this and being, hey, let's see if we can get back to Kaladesh. But the big question for Wizards, if you were working at Wizards and they wanted your input on the plan moving forward here, you got to figure out where you want to end up and how you're going to monetize your way to that point. You could probably create a reasonably authentic modern experience on Arena in a handful of months. Just comb through all the deck lists, take the top 5% of cards that are legal in Modern that are used in decks, and get those implemented into Arena, and create the Arena Masters set where you draft and get all these sweet old Modern cards, and boom, now Modern is largely authentic and viable on Arena. But that's a huge waste, quote, waste of possible revenue from rolling out those old cards into Arena. So I think that is their big question. It's like, and that's why I think what they'll do is start with what they've got, or something nearly with what they've got, and slowly add to the backwards catalog of Arena in ways that they can leverage for new experiences and for revenue generating experiences. So that's my prediction. You know what you think about that rant there, Jay, if there's what your thoughts are on that subject?
So, first of all, I pretty much agree with your concept. I think they're gonna have to bring in a modern format, and and they don't want to waste the design space that they've already spent. Uh, if I were them, I would look at the formats that were most popular for drafting, and because that's where the revenue comes from, and try and bring in the most popular drafting formats in order. I'm sure they've got the data sitting on Eric's computer, or just Eric knows it.
I was going to say, by Eric's computer, you mean his brain, right?
Yeah, actually. But find what the top draft formats are, and I would use that to guide the release, so that you optimize the money earlier rather than later. And of course, you don't necessarily lose the formats anyway.
Yeah, but you figure they're just going to live in some quasi modern Arena format that is missing a bunch of stuff, and then they come up with a plan to add stuff, right?
Basically, fill in the gaps. Arena Modern. I mean, if I had if I was doing it, if I was just could wave a magic wand and was in charge of things, I might bring in under a different format using single player, but that would be a much more radical approach.
Yeah, going full on Chandelar.
Going full on Chandelar or similar, to bring in old cards in the format that way. I mean, if you remember, Chandelar, while it used the Astral set, did have all the cards that were printed in Magic at the time.
Right.
They came out.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, those of you who haven't played it, you can go back and find emulators and stuff. It's really fun. It's like RPG Magic. You start with a crappy deck and you go around, get random monster encounters and battle them for ante, and find caves with cards in them, and you're just slowly building up your collection through roaming an open world. Oh yeah, I'll change the view. Thank you.
Reset had a question about how different the engines were. So Reset. I haven't worked with them. I did work with Magic Online and Duels at a high level, and in both of them I worked with a little bit of card code, and they were dramatically different.
Yeah, very dramatically different. Let's see. Yeah, I can drop the game audio a little bit if that was a little overwhelming.
Croker, absolutely. And so way back in the day, for those of you who don't know, I was in Planeswalker. I was the person who basically brought it into the world, although not the original producer and designer.
Mm-hmm.
That would have been Frank Gilson and Matt Place, amongst others. Anyway, I was there, basically my design stuff went through D2014, but after that I was driving directly towards Chandelar, which you can certainly call a Slay the Spire variant. It might have evolved that way given time.
Right.
And Slay the Spire, by the way, for those of you who haven't played, it's an amazing game.
It is good. I want to do some weekend streaming of alternate games sometime, and that would be one of them I would recommend for Magic players for sure.
The deck's performing nicely right now.
Yeah. Fanatic Guru says you don't see them pressing going backward. Money-wise, it seems to make more sense to get new players with new sets. I mean, I think the Wizards' mentality is, why not both? The thing is, when you've got... one of the great competitive advantages of Magic is their content pipeline is a fire hose and has been going for 25 years. And it's an easy money to just pull out old designs that you already know how successful they are, how popular they are, and reintroduce them in different spaces for basically sell. It's like when they
Before you time out, you
reissue.
need to play Chandra.
Yeah, well, let's see.
And
Before
see what you get.
yeah, there's just too much equity in reprints to just ignore that. All right, what are we doing here? What did you want to do? You want to take out? Oh no, we just
Activate.
yeah, just activate. That's all we can do.
Sit back and watch it burn.
And sitting back, or yeah, I guess we're just sitting back.
I'm just sitting back.
That's interesting, Micro, that you don't have that expectation. It's like it's whether or not you have that expectation. It's just again, it's you've put all this work into making these cards function to not offer players a chance to spend money to play them is silly. So
This is going to go very well for you.
Yeah, we can even do.
You can Elder Spell Ultimate, or Elder Spell, yeah, and then Ultimate off of Chandra.
We've been wanting to try that, so let's do that.
That seems like good family fun.
Regardless, I have learned much.
Yeah. Target. Wait. What am I trying?
They don't have they don't have
Exit.
planeswalkers.
You,
No, you target the opponent.
just making sure. Could be target player draws 7 cards and you can cast them. I just had to read. Okay. So now wait. Do we get to? You may play them this turn. Oh, but we don't get a discount or
Right,
anything.
get a bunch
Okay.
of mana.
So we go Steamkin. And that gives us 4. And we just play another Chandra?
I think you just play another Chandra.
That's kind of sad.
It is.
So it goes.
You want to play with fire, huh?
Well, we wanted to play with Elder Spell.
Let's light it up.
And sitting back again here. Oh, it's not set up as the main. I should set up this in Stream Deck as my set as deck. So now it should be here. Stream Deck are not active? What's going on?
I can no longer stand by and watch.
Well,
It's much more malleable.
Jay shared it there for you, but I'm not sure why. And now I got to figure out why Stream Decker's not working. Oh, the fun, the fun. Well, we could brutality. No, we could.
You could
Betray.
Elder Spell to kill the Teferi, and then you could price the other.
No, we only have.
Both, it's
Yeah,
too
man.
black.
We can go price widespread, so I was thinking about
Price
that
widespread
possible.
seems awfully good.
And it does take out the light shield, so let's do that. I'm pricing their army. And better get to Fairy while we can.
That's according to
Dice Hoarder says, I just wish that they would communicate with us to find out what Arena is going to look like post-rotation and post-beta. Yeah, that's info they're going to want to roll out very deliberately. I hope their communication is great, but I'm not surprised that it's not, like, prompt here.
Attack the Planeswalker.
They
They'll
almost
probably
certainly should.
block, and then you can Elder Spell the Planeswalker.
Yeah. Well, Valhalla, it's
Or
so hard. Oh, did you have another thought?
Than I thought.
Hold
Oh,
the
you
land.
could have sat and there wasn't a whole lot of threat from that planeswalker, so you could have sat and waited a turn.
Oh, sure. Well,
Yeah.
they were just going to put out another one. But Valhalla says, I understand Commander is a difficult proposition for Arena, but if it really is the most played format, what kind of signal is Arena sending to that player base by not having it as an available format? I don't know what to tell that audience other than you go design a sensible, functioning 4-player Magic battlefield. I mean, they have Commander online, and I can't play it. It's awful. It's awful. So, I don't know. Here, let's start here, though.
Hey, over here. This is just gonna be bad for you.
Just gonna go straight at them.
I'm not sure it matters if you get a 0-3 wall for a bit.
Talk to the wall.
Brawl is perfect for Arena. I think they should bring Brawl to Arena and make that a thing for sure. But I would not expect or hold your breath for 3+ player Magic on Arena this decade for sure. I mean, that's not saying much. It's a year and a half or whatever. But yeah, it's a tough call, tough ask.
No problem fire can't solve.
No problem. Lily can't solve either.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Absorb solves a lot of problems also, but I like our spot still. We'll crash in. I mean, maybe you can prove me wrong. I don't even think that it's possible to create an authentic 4-player Commander UI like that's quality enough to be even worth doing. That's my.
So I
that's how
would
I feel.
challenge that one
Yeah.
because I think I did a pretty good job on some of the duels 4-player experience.
They can get, but like Commander, like Duel's 4-player experience is still a walled garden where you have some containment. If you're trying to open up to full Commander, the boards just get so crazy. I don't know.
It does, but there's a lot of things you can do. You may have to require dual screens or weird hardware or something else, but I think you could do it. And I think people would go with whatever constraints you had to go with to make the UI work. Because I agree, it's a UI problem. This isn't any development problem otherwise.
Looks like we don't get him this turn, so I'm just gonna stop and let this happen. Oh, sorry, because I was chatting with Jay. That's the bot. There was no real strategy here. I was just kind of playing cards as we were talking about something that was more interesting to my brain than actually winning this game, and for better or for worse.
Fantastic. I think we both do, but I'm not sure either of us can talk about it.
Yeah, I'm far enough from Wizards that I doubt there would be any repercussions for me talking about some of that kind of detail, but just because I could get away with it doesn't mean it's not in the spirit of my agreements with them.
Croker, yes, I did. For most of my time, I was in charge.
This is going to
of
go away,
Wizards.
right?
When I was in R&D, the first day they put me on this kind of throwaway project they had called Xylophone. Xylophone was intended to be Magic for the Xbox, which became Duels.
Got you down.
My skills are sharper than a
Time to meet your breaker.
Now we'll go ahead and try and win. Oh, that doesn't work, does it? Ah, Planeswalker.
Still a bunch of cards.
Still a bunch of cards, but it's so funny. I'm never going to do it, folks. I'm going to leave this format forgetting Planeswalker statics. It's just the way it's going to be. But we got a lot of cards here. Let's have some fun. I don't want to do the brutality yet. I'm going to do this. Oops. God. This game.
We put a great deal of time into making it work for you, Valhalla. So thanks to some really strong support from managers, I was able to spend the time to get Duel's UI right. Initially, when Duel's was first internally built, we only had about a 20% adoption rate, and they let me keep refining the UI and elements of the tutorial until I had about 80%.
That's great.
Yeah, it was. It cost several of these managers their jobs to support me on it. So I was really impressed by their, honestly, sacrifice.
Now, if the Wanderer goes for our Steamkin, we will take the mana off. Try to remember you can do that. If that interaction ever comes up. I mean, it's better than just losing it.
It's you burning.
I'm not gonna well, we could brutality and it makes a 2/2 that then becomes a 3/3, but this all lives. I think we just want to keep our protection of Chandra back. I was gonna say though, with regards to that ratio of where the revenue comes from, I certainly believe it's over the years shifting. It ought to shift digital. One of the questions I asked on, or one of the things I would say sometimes on the Arena team is, well, if the tail starts to wag the dog, in other words, if Arena becomes so important to the global Magic ecosystem that its needs start to trump Papers, then we'll get this, that, and the other thing, All right, we're not going to screw it up.
You need to peel the onion to do this on the ultimate.
What do you mean?
If you do the ultimate, can't...
well, where's the...
You can get the Wanderer right now.
Yeah, exile top... But, oh, it's to... Okay, yeah. Right.
Right. That's the problem was you...
Wrong target.
Wrong target last time.
That was a disaster. No problem. Fire control.
Much better.
Mm-hmm.
We go... Runaway Steamkin.
Yeah. That makes sense.
And we could be
the other
Devil.
Planeswalker. The other Chandra.
Yeah, okay. Oh, yeah, because she makes mana, right?
She also kills the other Planeswalker.
Yeah, we can minus to kill the other Planeswalker. We have the Bedevil, though. Why don't we just Bedevil the Planeswalker?
This is a valuable experience.
Just gonna do the plus. Can't really do anything with it. Nothing even to cast, even if we could. That seems fine for us. Any number of target planeswalkers. How about 0? Doesn't it just win us? Right?
Oh, yeah. If you,
I mean, we already do win, but like, do we do this?
You can sacrifice Chandra to feed the other one.
No, you don't need to. You can just submit 0. Oops. Did I screw that up? What?
Just activate Chandra's ultimate.
Oh, for each that you did. I see. No, I misread the card. I didn't know what I didn't know what my actual card did. I was trying to win with style points, but instead we'll just win this way. Yeah, I was thinking that I got to submit 0 and then put loyalty counters on my planeswalkers anyway, not that those were tied.
No, you have to sacrifice the smaller Chandra to keep the other Chandra alive, but...
Well, for a theory-crafted deck with no playtesting, it did pretty darn good, I would say.
Yeah, it felt nice.
Yeah. Picked up a Jaya treatment here. But I do need to mosey. Got a busy afternoon and a busy weekend ahead. I got my dad's 80th birthday party on Saturday, Father's Day on Sunday, my daughter's graduation on Monday, and I don't have clothes for any of it. So, gonna head out and do that. Oh yeah, we can do the link one more time. Fiddles did it for you there. Yeah, busy man. And yeah, thanks, Jay. Thanks for saving Digital Magic, because Duels of Planeswalkers is maybe the most important Digital Magic release this side of Magic Online. And Magic Online was huge, of course, but the on-ramp that Duels has represented for so many players is fantastic. Or like here's a good example of what you did for gamers everywhere, Jay. I have a buddy who's a pretty avid tabletop gamer, but he's maybe a little too cool for Magic. Like, he doesn't want to own a collection of cards. He doesn't want to manage all of that, but he loves strategy games, and he was an iPad user, and he went from like, no way I'm getting back into Magic, no way I'm bothering to learn, to like, oh, I can play it on my iPad. And then he's playing it on his iPad, and he's playing it at work in the lunch count, in the cafeteria, in the company kitchen, and people will walk by and say, "Oh, I used to play that. What is that?" And so then you get Mr. Too Cool for School, who's now willing to play Magic out in the open on his iPad at work, and people are passing by and seeing him doing it and asking about it. It was such a huge, important step for acquisition in Magic, and it was very frustrating for me internally after you left and I arrived that they would be so obsessed with the profitability of Duels of the Planeswalkers, like, whether it within itself was making this, that, or the other. And of course you care and you want to be as profitable as possible, but I was just
that wasn't the point.
It's a loss leader. Like, you could you could give it away for free and it would be amazing for this company's bottom line. That was a frustrating thing to try and argue, I'm sure.
When I was there, I had a lot of support because I had Brand behind me. And Brand was my secret ace in the hole. I could trump my bosses, and part of the reason I no longer work for Wizards is I often trump my bosses by pulling in the VPs of Brand.
Yeah,
because they were higher up the food chain. I would win the argument but lose my job.
But you did it for us.
What I wanted for the way the product came out, and that was the important thing.
Well, those are your two great contributions then, as far as I'm concerned. You taught us the importance of curve in competitive deck building, and you brought us Duels of Planeswalkers. So we salute you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you. By the way, I'll be out next week, folks. I'm down working on a game in the Bay Area with a team that I would love to talk to you about, but we haven't announced yet. But it's for some of the deck builders that I build in paper right now.
Nice.
So anyway, I'll be off next week, but I'll be back in about 2 weeks, and talking to you all soon.
Yeah, and we're not going to give him deck building homework, but the upcoming, chapter 5 format or whatever is Ravnica block constructed, and I'll come up with some decks for that, and we can all share and talk about that on Friday too.
I will try and see what I can do to get y'all a couple of thoughts on that, because the format looks honestly really exciting. I'm sad there isn't, just constructed queues of it.
And been alerted that LSV is streaming with Gabby, so we're definitely going to raid over there. I'm going to get that set up. But I'm going to say goodbye to you, Jay. Thanks so much for hanging, and we'll see you in a couple weeks.
My pleasure. Catch
Right
y'all
on.
later. Bye,
Bye.
everybody.